Hey friends, welcome back. Let's talk about chocolate together. Today I'm going to talk about a chocolate maker based in Brazil. Her name is Arcelia Gallardo. I hope I'm saying that correctly. She started Mission Chocolate, which I have a few of her bars here. Mission Chocolate in 2014 in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Arcelia was actually, and this I got a stash because I recently ordered. So Arcelia was born in Los Angeles, California. I'm a little intimidated to talk about Arcelia because she is so knowledgeable, and she spent so much time studying chocolate history, chocolate making, going to origins. So she's really up there. So I'm a little nervous about talking about her. So she was born in Los Angeles, California. She grew up on a peach, plum, chicken farm. Her parents were Mexican immigrants to the United States. She went to the University of California at Berkeley. She has a BA from there, majoring in marketing, but minoring in Latin American literature. And she says this is really where her interest in chocolate began, because when she was minoring in this, they read the letters that the Spanish were sending back from the New World back to Spain. And in these letters, if you know chocolate history, they're talking about cacao beans, these weird almonds that were worth money, giving this information back to the Spaniards in the Old World. And so this is where her interest peaked about chocolate, like what's going on, where is this coming from, how have I never heard of this before, and that sort of thing. So that's where her interest in chocolate comes from. She went on to work at a California culinary school after she graduated, basically teaching about the history of chocolate and chocolate classes. And her interest just grew and grew, and she seems to be kind of a hands-on, dive all-in person, where she, after the culinary school, she took 5 months to travel around Europe to learn all about chocolate, to learn about basically chocolatiers, making chocolate confections, desserts, all of that stuff. 5 months in Europe, she visited 16 countries, learned all that she could. She came back to the United States and ended up in San Francisco, where she started as a chocolatier. She wasn't making her own chocolate at this time. She started as a chocolatier. She opened the Casa de Chocolate. I don't know if you. It had a different name when it first opened. I can't remember what it was, but it had a different name. She was not making her own chocolate for that store. She was using Guittard, I think Calbo as well at the time. That was in 2005 that she opened that store. It's famous, well-known, respected store. It's still there. She sold the store off to her partners in 2014, and moved on to her next venture, which was with Dandelion. She was living in the Mission District in San Francisco, which is in the area where Dandelion is, and so she worked for Dandelion Chocolate for about a year, and then her husband got the opportunity to either move to Mexico or Brazil, which is, she thought, was fantastic. These are both cacao producing countries, and they sat down and they weighed all the pros and cons of everything that goes into moving your family, and they decided to move to Brazil. So in 2014, she starts Mission Chocolate, and it's named because she used to live in the Mission District in San Francisco. When you're making chocolate in Brazil, it has to be made with Brazilian chocolate. So you have to use Brazilian cacao, Brazilian made chocolate. So she couldn't compete with the variety that you see with a lot of makers in the United States. So she decided she's going to focus in on making Brazilian chocolate. It's going to have Brazilian flavors. It's going to have Brazilian cultural influences and all that. And she's based in Sao Paulo, which is sometimes in the United States we can be a little US centric. So she's based in Sao Paulo. It's a big city. There's a lot of people in Sao Paulo, and there's a strong food scene there. There's a lot of Italian influence in Sao Paulo. And so there's enough people, there's a market in Sao Paulo that she can sell her craft chocolate there and just be absolutely fine. She doesn't have to come to the US. There's a market for good chocolate in Sao Paulo and in Brazil. But she focuses on making Brazilian chocolate from a cultural perspective. And so that's what her bars focus on. So Cupuaçu bar has, Cupuaçu is Theobroma grandiflorum, which is I guess you can call it cousin plant to Theobroma cacao. It has a unique taste, and it's a unique treat that they eat a lot in Brazil that we're not exposed so much to in the United States. She has a horchata bar, which is Latin American rice-based drink that she uses. That's this one is white chocolate and puffed rice and cinnamon. Guava is popular flavor in Brazil. She also makes the Romeo and Juliet bar, which is guava and cream cheese, which is based on a Brazilian dessert that's popular there. So fun flavors. And do you love her packaging? All like botanically based, so beautiful. What else? So I've got the award-winning 70% Brazil, which has won a Brazilian Bean to Bar award. And then Umbu, which I might open this, I don't know. I might open this one. Umbu is sometimes Umbu, it's called Umbu. It's native to Brazil. It comes from a tree, Spidonius tuberosa, I think, is the binomial. It's in the same family, the Anacardiaceae, in the same family as cashew and mango and pistachio, and what else is in that family? Sumac. So in that same Anacardiaceae family, it looks like a green peach. So it's a drupe, which means it has a pit in the middle. So it kind of looks like a green peach. I'm not sure how well it tastes in chocolate, so I might open this one today. But the indigenous name, meaning of the name is tree that gives drink. So this is an indigenous plant to Brazil, native to Brazil. And then she's got this one that recently was famous because it was on Seth Godin's blog when she was on there with him, the Two Rivers. This one's super cool. I'm definitely going to open this one today, so when I flip the camera, I'll tell you more about that. What else do I want to tell you before we try some chocolate? I think that's it for now. She's really put her time in to become a chocolate expert. She has traveled to indigenous communities in Guatemala and Brazil and many Latin American countries in Mexico, to work with the indigenous people to learn their traditions behind the chocolate. So yeah, let's flip the camera around and try some chocolate. I'm excited. Okay, so we've got her bars here. These bars I'm not going to open today because I've had before and they're delicious. I can recommend them. So this Brazilian 70%, the Cupuaçu bar, every bar that I've had with Cupuaçu has actually been really good. The guava bar, I've also had a Romeo and Juliet bar, which is yum. And then the horchata white chocolate, which is a fun flavor if you've used to eating horchata. Okay, so I'm going to open probably both of these. Let's open the Two Rivers first. This one has a really cool story, and I love how culturally focused she is with this bar. So the story behind this bar comes from a place in Brazil called the Meeting of Waters. If you were to Google this, you'd see how cool it looks, or to Google Earth it. So it's this place where two rivers, two tributaries of the Amazon come together and they meet Let's see if I can open this nicely. They meet, and it's unique because the rivers don't mix. So you have the Rio Negro and the Rio Solimões. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. They don't mix because they're a different temperature, they move at a different speed, and they have different sediment levels. So for 6 kilometers, these rivers travel side by side without mixing, and it's a very dramatic effect. So you can guess from Rio Negro that that's the darker one. So she's made this bar based on it, and look how cool it is, you guys. This is not a milk chocolate. These are both 70% dark chocolates. And so this one represents the Rio Negro, which is darker, slower, and warmer, and at the meeting of waters. And this one represents the Rio Solimões, which it's got a lot more sediment in it, so it kind of has a cafe au lait, sandy color. It's faster and it's colder, and these rivers travel side by side like this without mixing for 6 kilometers before they eventually mix and become the Amazon, basically. So I wanted to try this. They're both 70% chocolate, made with different cocoa beans from Brazil. It's gluten-free, soy-free, lactose-free. So this isn't a milk chocolate, guys. This is a dark chocolate. Look at that color. Is that awesome or what? Okay, 3 ingredients: cacao, organic sugar, and cocoa butter. So it's gonna have a nice mouthfeel. What else made in Sao Paulo, expiration date, lot number, and this beautiful, look at this packaging with the beautiful flowers on it, the hibiscus and the plumeria. So lovely. Okay, so look at the back, even cooler. I love this bar. I love the focus on Brazil. I love the focus on the 2 chocolates. It's so cool. Okay, so here's the bar. Let's try. I'm gonna try. It's a little warm where I am, so not a huge snap. I'm gonna try the outsides because I want to get the different chocolates. Okay, so they both look beautifully tempered. Really nice. That's my fingerprints on that one, you guys, so don't worry about that too much. A little bit of a soft snap. Oh, okay, so wow, I'm smelling them already, and it's very unique. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to warm them up with my thumb a little bit and release some of the volatiles and aromatics, and we'll taste it and see if we can taste the difference. But look at that color difference. Isn't that cool? Both 70%. So what a unique tasting experience this bar is. I had to write myself notes because I wasn't going to remember. The light side has so when you smell it, I get a little bit of a spice, a raisin smell. It has a very creamy mouthfeel to it. And it's got this little bit, I don't even know how to describe it. I can't nail down what spice it is because a little bit of a zing, not a spicy zing, like chili pepper, just something there at the beginning. And then it's got this nice, smooth, creamy mouthfeel, a little bit of a bright citrus flavor. Whereas this side has a much stronger snap. It's darker, chocolatey, fudgy. It's still got a little bit of the raisin kind of notes to it, I find. But wow, what a fantastic and fun bar. I love the story behind it. The chocolate's good. What a fun bar to taste. So that's the 2 rivers. Last I checked, I don't know when this video will go up, but last I checked, it was sold out in the United States. So you might have to wait a little while for her to come back and finish that one. The other one I want to open is this one, the Umbu. So like I mentioned before, this one is a fruit that is native to Brazil. Oh, this one's nice. This one's got, I love her papers. They're textured and they're beautiful, and they've got the floral designs on them. They feel very women in chocolate, and I like it. So the umbu is a native Brazilian plant. It is a drupe in the Anacardiaceae family. Family includes mangoes, pistachios, cashews, sumac. It looks kind of like a green peach with the pit in the middle. That's what a drupe is. It's a fruit that has a pit in the middle. So this is 70% dark chocolate. It has candied umbu fruit in it, and it is gluten-free, dairy-free, and soy-free. So she doesn't, I don't know if all her bars she doesn't use lecithin, but the two that we're tasting today, she's not using lecithin. So let me see if I can open this nicely. So here's the ingredients: organic cacao, organic sugar, organic umbu, and cocoa butter. So like I mentioned, she has to use Brazilian cacao, but there's other, I've heard her speak about other barriers that make owning a business and making chocolate harder than it would be in the United States. Things like the foil, so it's hard to get a good foil in Brazil. They have to import that. So let's take a look at this bar. Take that and put that there. Oh, interesting. That is not what I was expecting. The fruit is not that color, so that's interesting that it is that color when it's dried. Wow. All right. It's a nice looking bar. I like the thickness of her bars. It's just feels to me like a good thickness for craft chocolate. Okay, so it's a good looking bar. Look at that fruit, how unique that looks. The dark color of the fruit looks beautifully tempered. No issues there whatsoever. Let's snap it, and hear the snap. Oh, good snap. The fruit is stopping it from snapping as much. So we can do it again. Good snap on that one, 70% bar. So I'm gonna warm this up again with my thumb and taste it, and I'll probably tease apart the umbu and taste it differently from the chocolate and then with the chocolate to see how it turns out. All right, so this cacao comes from the Bahia region of Brazil, which has a really interesting history when it comes to cacao. Brazil used to be one of the largest cacao producers in the world, and dominated by large plantations and like cacao kings and that sort of thing. And there's some, what they believed happened was bioterrorism went on with a disease that infects cacao trees and basically wiped out the Brazilian cacao industry for during the 80s, and it's still working on coming back. And so there's an interesting history there, but the chocolate is good, the cacao is good. It has a nice strong cocoa flavor, not strong, good cocoa flavor, slightly nutty. The umbu is so interesting to me. When I eat it, it's like a pâté de fruit almost, a little bit more chewy. It has, for me, a little bit of a floral note, a little bit obviously dried fruit, and I got this interesting buttery finish. So when I tasted the chocolate and the umbu together, you get the combination of the sweet from the chocolate, or the more sweet from the chocolate, and the tang of the dried fruit, and it's just really, really nice. That's a really lovely bar. I would highly recommend that one. So I love what she's done, focusing on the Brazilian cultural aspect. I love that she's highlighting nature in Brazil and fruits from Brazil and Brazilian culture, and it's just fantastic. So I'm going to flip the camera around and we'll finish up. All right, so those were two of the bars in Arcelia's lineup at Mission Chocolate. I really liked both of them. I haven't had anything from Arcelia that I haven't liked. So really, if you're going to choose Mission Chocolate, you can't go wrong. She is also online a big proponent of drinking chocolate. So that's actually one of the ways that she dove deeper into the chocolate field, where when she moved away from being a chocolatier and started to discover drinking chocolate. And she's a big proponent of learning to drink chocolate with water, not milk, to really tease out and experience the flavor in cacao. So on her Instagram, she's always posting fun little clips of her making her unique drinking chocolate recipes, and I love it. Every time she does it, I'm trying it like the next day. So that's one thing that she is doing online. She also founded the Brazilian Bean to Bar Association. She was one of the founding members, and she was the president. I don't think she is anymore, but I could be wrong on that one. So she's really all about community, whether it's learning from the indigenous communities, supporting their indigenous communities by buying their cacao and sharing their traditions, or creating a modern bean to bar community in Brazil. The bean to bar movement really exploded in the United States in the early 2000s. In Brazil, it was a little bit later. It was around mid 2010s, so like 2014, 2015, there started to be more Brazilian makers sprouting up. And so with the association, she's bringing them all together, working to create better cacao. They have an awards that they do, where it's blind tasting by all people who are actually making the chocolate. So you have to be a chocolate maker to participate in judging that one. So she's really, really all about community. And she's also strong supporter of women in chocolate, which is amazing as well. So I cannot more highly recommend learning from Arcelia and eating her chocolate. So that's Mission Chocolate, this week's chocolate. And if you enjoyed this, make sure to like, I don't know which side it's going to be on. Subscribe and like's going to be down here. Subscribe to the channel and you will get a new chocolate video every week on Thursday. Hope to see you then.